What kind of vibe does your data catalog have? It's actually pretty important if you want to be successful with the data catalog. Of course, the basic user experience is obvious, and it's something that will likely come with the data catalog vendors. But each data catalog is configurable, so data governance actually does have a big say in the entire user experience. One thing I see that I think is problematic is clutter. Do we really need to say that we have 7.3 million columns in our data catalog, 250 reports, 150 data steward actions in the last week? It might make data governance feel good, but it doesn't really help the user. And we tend, I think, to put things like that information in our basic landing pages, and it's not helpful. Another thing that I see is, because of this clutter, users have to scroll around up and down because there's too much that's hidden below the fold that they have to get to. And that is a problem. Another problem in terms of setting the overall tone for a data catalog is overpromising. We shouldn't overpromise what we can deliver. Now, we have the issue of the capabilities in the data catalog being one thing, but the content to support those capabilities being another thing. So we can tell users, for instance, that yes, you can go from a business term to all the columns that business term is linked to, but if we haven't actually made that link, if we haven't linked the database columns to the business term, then the user actually can't do that. Again, the capability exists, but in practice it's not really there. Another example might be where we have the ability to shop for data, to go and get a data set. Well, what is a data set? Do we just default to kind of saying, oh, it's a table in a database? That may be not right. More to the point, who is the owner of the data set? Meaning, who can support it, who knows about it in detail, who understands the SLA by which it's being produced, and who do we go to get permission to use the data set? If we haven't set up those sets of responsibilities in the data catalog, then even though again we have the capabilities and we have the menu options that allow us to access those capabilities, they're not really working. So overpromising is something else we need to think about in terms of the overall vibe that we're setting for our data catalog. Something else to think about in terms of the overall experience that the data catalog is conveying is, do the users understand what they're looking at? Data governance folks may well understand, but that doesn't mean users will, regular business users, many of whom may be just infrequent users of the data catalog. We could have explanations, but long explanations that people have to read and digest as they're in the catalog, that's not really helpful either. For instance, a user might look at a business term and not understand that the business term is still being developed, it's not yet approved, and that the definition of the business term shouldn't be taken literally as something that's a finalized product. So these are things that we need to do by putting ourselves in the shoes of the users, particularly the infrequent users of a data catalog. So we do need to think about the tone, the vibe that we're going to set for our data catalog. We have to think about the users that are going to visit it, the kind of personas, the look that they're going to have, the ease of navigation, and it's not just about showcasing the capabilities of the tool, it's not just about showcasing the quantity of metadata we have in it. Data is arguably the most important asset that an enterprise has. The data catalog is the gateway to discovering and using those data assets. So we do need to devote the appropriate level of thought and resources to making sure that our data catalogs have the right vibe.